preparation. All right, on your cue, let's hit the green record button.
All right, we might need to do a couple takes.
Sure.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Ill Ego Culture Brands Talk podcast. You're here with Deion Larry, your co-host, and John Ostos, aka I forgot it. I forgot it.
Got green floofs on me.
All right, that's better. Feel good, comfortable.
Yes, sir.
Keep your volume on. Check, 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 check.
Check, check, check. There we go. Sounds beautiful.
All right, let's bust it. Let that recorded. And then go ahead and intro.
Welcome back to Ill Ego Culture Brands Talk. I'm here with the Ill Ego I always do it. I try to pronounce it so well, and it just doesn't.
It's
turn
only
out.
the fourth time.
Yeah.
In fact, this is the third time re-recording this episode altogether. Not just like take after take. Like, hey, we have to come back and do this over again. And work out. So we're gonna attempt to do it. We're gonna attempt to try and recreate a conversation we already had that was pretty damn solid.
Yes.
But first, let's lock down that intro, huh?
Yes. Okay. Redo. Welcome back to the second episode of Ill Ego Culture Brands Talk. I'm here with Ill Ego.
What's it doing?
It's just turned off.
Bunch of outtakes of starting it over, so we don't have to keep redoing the intro.
BTS behind the scenes. Better than sex.
Better than sex. All right. Let's see here. Well, I don't even know where to begin, Deion. We've tried this damn episode one too many fucking times. Right?
Most definitely. It's been interesting.
I'm not at the end of my rope with it, but damn it, it's frustrating.
It is.
So, anyways, we're back. Ill Ego CEO John Ostos with my co-host Deion Larry, who still does not have a nickname, and that might just be the premise of the entire duration of this show, is just
Forever.
Deion Larry, who still doesn't have a nickname.
Yeah.
That's like maybe your nickname.
Yeah. No nickname Larry.
No nickname.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Right.
So, anyways, man, we had a couple really dope conversations that we recorded, and they were really bad versions of a recording, and so we had to start from scratch once, and now this is our third attempt. So here we are. I don't even remember what we were talking about anymore at this rate. But we were all over the place. We talked about a lot of good stuff. One thing we talked about, we scratched because it wasn't a good topic anymore, because the day after we did it, YouTube decided they were going to start removing channels that spread misinformation. And it's not that we were spreading misinformation. It's just that our opinion on certain matters aren't allowed in the public view anymore, or whatever you want to call it. So then we switched gears, and the last episode that we shot that we are not able to put out. We were talking about IFBB Pro.
Yep.
Chasers.
Yep. People becoming IFBB pros.
Yes, which is a hell of a good topic. So hopefully we can recreate some really good energy around that conversation like we had last time, because it's something everybody's after right now.
For sure.
And one of the biggest things we wanted to talk about regarding that is the fact that people chase that and don't really have an understanding of what it means, or they believe that getting the status of IFBB Pro is game changer for their life.
Yeah, like they're going to become a celebrity or something.
Yeah, we're here to tell you guys, I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. And it's not to knock anything about the IFBB or anybody who's out to get their pro card. You can't even say we're knocking it, because Deion is a competitor. Deion wants to achieve his IFBB Pro card. I've sponsored many athletes who are chasing the dream. But we want to set the record straight from at least our belief system. Yeah. In terms of the fact that chasing the IFBB Pro card should not be the end all for you when it comes to an accomplishment, unless you really just want that status and love your job and want to keep working your job and have no other ambitions or desires to do anything above and beyond that. Then by all means, chase. But if you are looking to get your IFBB Pro card because you think it's going to change your status or increase your value in some way, shape, or form, there may be some rare truths to that, but I think in general, you're chasing a pipe dream.
Yeah, it all depends on like what your career currently is, I would say. Your career isn't even involved in this industry. So not including myself, I would say I'm pretty involved in the industry,
Right.
selling supplements at H&I Nutrition. When you're some sort of businessman or you work in an office job, let's say, not in the fitness industry at all, how is being an IFBB Pro gonna correlate to that or making that better?
Or how
somehow?
does it increase your value?
Exactly.
Because one of the biggest misconceptions is people think there's a paycheck.
Yeah.
As a pro, and it's completely the opposite. In fact, you probably spend way more money as a pro competitor than you do as a NPC or amateur competitor.
Yeah.
In any case, you don't even get to earn money until you become a pro. But then when you do become a pro, you have to earn money by being like the top 3, top 5 competitors.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just in the world, but in whatever that bracket or that division of the NPC that you're competing in this case, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, and we're talking directly from bodybuilding. If you want to talk,
yes.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding competition,
Yep.
et cetera. Yeah. So it's a weird ambition people have, and I don't think they understand. I think they believe that it makes them an influencer. They believe that having that title on their name, on their Instagram or their Facebook now means that people are going to flock to them and want information from them or want to work with them, which in some cases that might happen. And one rare case that we talked about, or an anomaly, is like a Charles Griffin, for example. Yeah. That's a guy who competed back to back and achieved his pro card like almost one shot, one kill across the board. He went from NPC to national qualifier or to national competition to getting his pro card to then placing in like the top 5, top 6 in the world at the Olympia, like all seemingly back-to-back competitions for the guy. So he's new to competing. I believe Charles is 39, so he's almost 40 years old, but he's new to competition. He's new to bodybuilding. He's his tissue and his muscle, everything's fresh. He's not like the other 40 to 45, 46-year-olds that are competing, who have been competing for, a decade or, 20 plus years already, or whatever the situation may be. Charles started 6 years ago,
not long,
something like so he hasn't been competing for very long, so he's fresh to the game, and I think he's gonna keep his look and continue to build and improve his physique for a long time to come. But he's somebody who blew up as a result of getting his pro card.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's just because he got his pro card, because that's an anomaly. If someone can do that, it's very rare that it happens. But now he's working on increasing his value, and he's capitalizing on the fact that he does have a huge following, and he has an organic following, which is a very key factor if you want to become somebody with the IFBB Pro title. You have to be able to build an organic following, and then be able to have some kind of influence over those people. So you got to be able to work the game. You got to know how to be an influencer, and that might increase your value in one of those kinds of situations. However, if you don't already have that going for you, if you are not looking to attain that kind of a status on social media or whatever your presence, wherever it's at, it's just not going to do nothing for you to get a pro card. And I hate seeing people think that. You see it all day at the gym. I can't even tell you how many 140-pound dudes soaking wet. They're shredded to the bone, but because they should be when they're 140 pounds and 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And they're just like, 2 years I'm giving myself to get that pro card. And it's just like, I know dudes that have been competing for like 10 years trying to get pro cards, longer. Yeah. And you can tell they're just never going to get their pro card, even though they stand out in the NPC brackets. They're just, some people just won't achieve that. And I've seen a lot of
We've
them
seen
working
it a ton of
towards
times.
I know people who I believe have stellar physiques who have struggled to get their pro cards. And I can give so many examples. I just don't want anybody to think I'm talking trash about it, because I'm not.
No.
I'm just trying to prove, case in point, how difficult it is, because it's hard to get your pro card, even when you're one of the best in the NPC division. It's just difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about people in gyms, how an individual might feel like, hey, I'm the biggest in this gym. I'm about to go pro this year.
Yeah.
Like this is it. This is it. I feel like I'm the best here.
Yeah.
So I'm
the biggest dude
win.
at the YMCA. So everybody comes to me for tips and pointers, and I'm about to get my pro card now because they all tell me I could.
Yeah. Yet you've never competed at all.
It's like the concept, like I said, about the joke we make about when people who don't come to Metroflex, right? Like,
yeah.
And this is just a joke. Don't take it personal and get all bent out of shape. But we make a joke at Metroflex, like when you see a dude who he's got a good physique, he's pretty elite, he's competed or he should compete somewhere along those lines, and you might say, why ain't a dude like that at Metroflex? And why isn't he over here with the rest of the bangers? And the only thing we can ever come up with is, well, because at Metroflex, a guy like that or a girl like that is a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
At the YMCA or one of your other local fitness centers, they're the standout, man. They're the god of muscles in their gym. You know what I mean? So they like that. It's the same concept. Like, people think because they've been told by so many other people, and probably a whole bunch of other people who don't know jack about bodybuilding, who don't know anything about competition or judging a bodybuilding show. They don't know what people are looking for, what the criteria is. They're probably gassing you up real good, but that doesn't mean you're going to get a pro card.
No,
it's so rare that people can do that. But the biggest point of this topic of discussion really is stop chasing the pro card if you think it's going to change your life, because it's not.
No,
and I can't stress enough. This isn't me and Deion trying to be like talking down on the industry. We love bodybuilding. We sponsor the bodybuilding shows all the time here. We're huge advocates of it. We believe in, competition. We believe in everything that the Kempers are doing for shows in our regions in the upper Midwest. Fully support it. We just want people to have a very clear understanding that this is not the game-changing title that you're looking for, that you think it is, if that's what you think.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of criteria that has to be involved with who you are as a person, what status you have on social media, how big is your following, how much influence do you have over that following. I mean, the checklist is long before you get down to the point where you're like, okay, check.
Yeah.
Check. Value just went up. No, it's not there. There's a long list. There's a lot of things that happen. In fact, you see celebrity influencers or fitness, celebrities who don't even compete.
Yeah,
they're making millions. They're making tons of money, never competed. Or you see the ones who used to compete and they saw the opportunity to shift gears and make more money just as a fitness influencer.
And then you got guys that do compete and show it off and then make tons of money, and yet they're not even pros yet.
Right.
We got 23-year-olds making tons of money, not even being a pro or just chasing being a pro. They're 180. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, the crazy thing too about it is you can't. We tried to look up for some information regarding like average pay or something along those lines, and the only thing we came across, and it's just kind of a little misleading because of the way they word it, is they talk about the average salary that a bodybuilder can make depending on the regions of the states that he lives in. So like if you live in New York, or if you live in, California, etc., they gave some criteria, didn't they, about like what the average salary a pro bodybuilder would make. Yeah,
they kind of gave us a high of about 110,000 a year, and then the low was like 45,000 or so. It was, and that was kind of in the north of the US. So
now keep in mind, there's probably tens of thousands of pros in the IFBB all over the world.
Yeah.
Deion, you were saying earlier that there's about 800 of them given out a year, at least in 2020.
In 2020.
They gave out 800 pro cards in 2020 alone.
And that was a slow year is what they said. So, I mean.
So do the math. I mean, it's been a long time that they've been issuing pro cards. There's so many of them around. I know people who have pro statuses that don't even do anything with it.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to register in order to be in the pro league still. Once you get your pro card, you have to register and pay for it every so often. Yeah. So.
And keep in mind, when we talked about these salaries, they're not actually making a salary. You're not gonna get a title as a pro and then they're
get
just
$35,000 a year
signatures on a check to you every 2 weeks or monthly. It doesn't work that way at all. Not even remotely.
Don't get a dime.
You don't get a dime from them. In fact, the price increases to compete as a pro because you're competing at a higher level. A lot more goes into it. You need better coaches. You need better nutrition. You're eating better foods. Probably more expensive supplementation and all these things, the gear that people take, bodybuilders and whatnot. I mean, the price just gets up higher as a pro competitor, as far as what you invest to being a pro and per show. You make money based on how you place in a competition. So the top 5 make some scratch.
Yep.
Number 1 always makes the most, and by a large amount, I believe we looked into, and it's just embarrassing to see the difference between the first and second place. Yeah. So again, not to discourage anybody, but to set the right expectations. This is just some of the stuff we know and see and understand, that we have conversations with people at the front desk all the time. And for those of you that don't know or don't have the same kind of a gym environment like we created at Metroflex, the front desk is like the confession booth, man.
For sure.
Like all the years since the day we opened, I cannot tell you, I've made more friends at that front desk than anything in my life. And it's because people will come up there in between sets, before and after their workouts, and they will just confess. Yeah. I mean, you get the dirt, man.
They'll eat their meal while you hang out with them.
Yeah. But it's just what we do. It's kind of like
it's therapy.
Enjoyable. Yeah. And it's enjoyable to us, unless it gets into the real gossipy stuff, then sometimes it's just tiresome and stressful. Which there's plenty of gossip in this industry too, let me tell you. But we won't talk about that stuff today.
Topic.
but one of the topics that comes up all the time is competition and people wanting to achieve pro cards, and everybody's watching and putting in their bets on who's going to achieve what this year. And you think so and so will get their pro card, and then how do you think they're going to do in the pro division standing next to these guys? And so it's always just a very common topic that comes up, and it's super disheartening to see how many people actually believe if they could just get that pro card, which is extraordinarily hard to do, especially if you are actually just a bodybuilder, like not physique, not classic physique, not a bikini competitor. If you are an open bodybuilder, it's even that much harder to get your pro card. Yeah, but they're issuing pro cards like that. 800 is probably majority physiques and figure and bikini girls and stuff. The stuff that you go to these local shows and you see there's fucking 40, 50, 60 competitors and then bodybuilding shows up and there's like 6 bodybuilder. So it's a lot harder to get your pro card as a bodybuilder for sure. We've seen plenty of people on the journey. I've seen people retire from bodybuilding never accomplishing that goal and competed their entire lives. So it just depends on who you are as a person and what your look is, man. And again, getting that status or that title will not change your life. No. It's just not going to, unless you are an anomaly.
Yeah, and we talked about some of the things that you can do with that pro card or before getting that pro card, slightly before, like coaching, your coaching business. That's one of the couple things that could benefit you getting a pro card. So say you're a coach and you are competing, that's obviously going to give you more traction in your community. And then say you get your pro card, I mean, more people in your community are going to be more likely to want to be coached by you.
Yeah, for sure.
You become busier that way. You got to still compete if you actually care about being a pro. Yeah. So it's like, it's a constant grind. There's no stop once you become a pro.
Correct.
It's a grind before, and it's a hell of a grind after.
You can bank on it. We're not saying you can't bank on it. Like what Deion just said, you can definitely bank on that status if you have the desire to actually continue working towards more. We're not saying that getting the pro status means that that's it, that's a wrap. You're like, we're just saying there's so much more work to be done before and after getting that status. Yeah. The status itself really doesn't change a whole lot.
You don't automatically get 4 people to come work for you, make your t-shirts, make your supplements, sell them for you. It doesn't just happen that way.
The federation doesn't line you up with endorsements and sponsors and none of that shit either. So it's just, it's crazy how this whole operation works. But it's possible. It definitely is. But again, keep in mind, even as a personal trainer, there's not a lot of people that look for personal training banging at the door of someone to do bodybuilding prep for them.
It's hard.
So that status, again, is that much more less valuable because, you're a personal trainer and now you're like touting, well, I'm also an IFBB Pro, and most people are going to be like, okay.
What does that mean?
You know what I mean? So it's just hard to watch people and see them believe that this is going to be a life-changing title or status to achieve.
Yeah,
man, go for it. By all means, it's one of the hardest things to accomplish. I've seen people trying to do it and not be able to, and I've seen people get it, and I know the work they put in. In fact, I've financed the effort for several people to achieve it and seen it happen. But it's not a game changer.
Yeah, and I mean,
I've seen people recently achieve their pro cards that we know personally who it didn't evolve them. it didn't take them to another level. It didn't change anything about their current position, except now they got to work that much harder to promote themselves with that title. But they would have had to do that with or without the title. You know what I mean? So yes, go after it, chase it. If that's one of your endeavors, by all means, man, shoot. What do they say? Shoot for the moon, so at least you get stars. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fully in support of that. But I just want people to know, like, it's not over there.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not even the beginning necessarily. You know what I mean? You should be doing the groundwork beforehand. You should be trying to be an influencer beforehand. You should be trying to build a following beforehand, and you should probably check your mentality and your personality at the door before you become an IFBB Pro, because then you're just going to become an asshole IFBB Pro that everyone talks about, instead of like that really cool guy or that humble person, or, you know, like, those are the people that get the big following and that really nail it.
Yeah, and we link that to ill ego.
Yeah, straight up. I'll give you a perfect example, and I won't say any names because I'm not trying to out-name nobody. But we had a company recently, a couple years ago, where we sponsored a big name bodybuilder, an athlete, had like 220,000 followers, and we worked out a contract with him for a 90-day probationary period to be an influencer or an ambassador of one of our companies. And we paid this person like $400 a month, who he named his price. Keep in mind, he's been bodybuilding for a long time, guest poses a lot, really well-known guest poser. And he just has a big following. So we thought, man, this is great. When we talked to him and he named his price at $400 a month, we were like, well, shit, we can actually afford that. That's crazy. So it gave me a different impression as to what the status of these pro bodybuilders actually is, because you would think like $400 a month, that's not a lot of money for somebody who, you know, like, you would have to have 20 endorsement deals or something like that to make that valuable to you. But as we found out, this person didn't sell a single shirt, not a single discount code
in 90 days.
In 90 days with 220,000 followers. And he wasn't not trying. He was grinding. He was putting it out there. He was promoting. He was creating stories and videos. He was wearing all of our stuff. You know, like, he was really marketing us, and he was being an ambassador, man. He was doing his part. He just didn't have any influence over his following. And that's another dangerous thing that people have to pay attention to. Like, $220,000 didn't equate to one single sale. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this dude made $1,200 off of us for nothing. You know what I mean? But that was the risk that we were willing to take. It was the agreement. So I'm not knocking him if someone figures out who this is. This isn't me dissing at all. We're still really cool. In fact, I think even this person promoted us not too long ago, just for the hell of it, or was wearing our shit, you know, not too long ago. So it's just a point I'm making. Even with the following, you still need the influence. You still have to have that ability. And that takes more than just a title. That takes more than just having your pro card. You got to have a fucking personality.
Yeah,
man.
people got to like you.
Yeah, people have to actually genuinely like you.
They want to hear what you want to say.
Asshole who talks trash and does all this stuff and then can't back it up, and, you know, isn't winning all the shows, isn't coming in first, second, or third
Always
place.
Complaining
You know?
about what they're doing. Let's be real. You chose this.
Yeah. For sure. But that's what I mean. Some people become a certain way because I think they had the impression that it was supposed to change their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they didn't think they were going to have to work that hard to make money in pro bodybuilding. You know, most people think, oh, I'm going to be a pro football player, right? I'm going to make millions. I'm going to be a pro basketball player. I'm going to make millions. Pro baseball, I'm going to make millions. Even 100,000s. You know what I mean? Or whatever. But in pro bodybuilding, you can't even become 100-air, bro. Like, it's rare.
Can't even make 80,000 if you're low tier.
It's super rare you get to make money off the federation. When they say salary, I don't care, man. I'm going to stop saying I'm not knocking, because I feel like
it makes it feel like you're knocking.
Backpedaling too much, man. Whatever. If you think I'm talking shit, think I'm talking shit. I'm not, though. But my point is, that's super misleading to put it out there on the internet when you search it, to say it's a salary.
Yeah, especially with young people.
Yeah, a bodybuilder can make $93,000 a year competing in New York is very misleading, and I think they left out a whole bunch of criteria in regards to how you can make that. Like, that's probably the overall pot of money that can be made if you win every show in New York. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. And there's probably some people we could ask. We could probably talk to like a Tom Kemper or something, bring him on and help fill some of the gaps here with some of the stuff we're just throwing out. But very misleading.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, maybe not this year, but like in the past 2 years, I would say 90,000 is pretty close to, I'm sure, what the top placing gets.
Right.
Like, I think this last year in 2021, this year,
The New York Pro.
New York Pro, they awarded, it was over 120,000 to the first place winner. I think it was around 160. The second place, I think, was around 70,000. So
Half.
yeah.
Half from first to second was half. So now what do you think third, fourth, and fifth get?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
And I'm sure fifth only gets like 5,000.
Yeah, fifth maybe gets half of his investment covered to come into that show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First place, they recouped their costs more than likely.
Yeah, for sure.
And made some profit. But that's first placed.
Yeah, I mean,
and the New York Pro's not no chump show.
no,
you know what I mean?
it's at least high tier.
Yeah, but it's where the best of the best go to get their
Exactly.
qualification for the Olympia. So you're talking about the top 10 in the world all show up to that show to try to see who's the baddest, right? Like you got the Arnold, you got the New York Pro. What are a couple other big name ones that people like to go to
Texas has been a big one lately.
So I mean, but you're talking the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. They say, like this dude that's winning that 160,000 is no slouch.
Yeah, I mean, you got Olympia top 3.
Who
guys.
won it this year? Nick
Walker.
Yeah,
who is set to be top 5.
Yeah, he's making claims, and then he's walking away with the titles and proving himself across the board. But again, you're talking about somebody who's taken the influencer position, blown it out of proportion,
young,
really banked on it, super young, freaky work ethic, freaky physique,
crazy.
Just put on freaky mass in a short amount of time, works with one of the most renowned coaches in bodybuilding right now, Matt Jansen. One of our guys, Sam Roberts, is working with Matt Jansen.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to say that out loud, but yo, that's gonna be fun to see what happens to Sam. But sorry if I leaked that for you, Sam. I'll give you
out now.
Yeah. My bad, bro. But whatever, it's out, and then you're not even famous yet. So
yeah.
But
so bring him up.
But see what it takes. That's what I mean. Is like he has all those pieces in place. Like everything that
sure.
like he's wearing all the rings that qualify him to be where he's at and make the kind of money he's
make real money.
It's not. There's not one stone unturned in Nick Walker's game right now.
Yeah, but he puts himself through it. Like
right.
if I'm sure if you talk to him, he's going to be
eat, sleep, and breathe literally bodybuilding. He didn't become who he became in such a short amount of time.
Sitting on his phone, talking to his fans. I mean, he's
doing it all.
He's doing it everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
So
like I said though, he's got the bases covered.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that goes into it. This is a guy that banked on getting his pro card. In fact, didn't he just get his pro card too, and then went right into a pro show and smashed a pro show?
He lost his first pro show, came back, won, and then won the Arnold, and now it says he's going to win the Olympia. We'll see this weekend.
It's crazy. He's calling shots. I think he's crazy going after Big Ramy.
Yeah.
Big Ramy's going to be free. He's going to be hard to beat if he's dialed in. He did it last year, which was the first time we've seen him do it ever.
And he has a pretty unbeatable physique at that. So
I mean, you're talking about a guy who has mass and symmetry.
Yeah, waist isn't blown out.
A lot of these dudes, they're big, but they lost symmetry, they lost flow.
Mm-hmm.
They don't got the X frames going on and stuff. So they're freaks of nature by every term of the definition. But that shit does not beat aesthetics.
Yeah,
and somehow Big Ramy outmasses everybody and still has a really cool aesthetic flow for that kind of mass.
Yep.
Good luck beating him, Nick.
We'll see. Nick's got some mass.
In fact, Nick looks good, but I see him more like third or fourth place, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's got to go against some bad dudes still. So we'll see.
He does.
That's a whole nother show, a whole nother topic for sure that we'll get into, man. But without a doubt, this pro card chasing stuff, man, this is some serious business. This isn't just, it's going to be easy to attain one. No, that's not the case at all. It's going to be one of the most difficult things you've ever had to get. In fact, it could take you the duration of your bodybuilding career to even become a pro.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're waiting for that status, thinking it's going to change everything, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
You might as well just get started building your following, get started being an influencer in the fitness industry, and then hope to achieve your pro card along the way instead of the other way around, because again, that's going to be really hard to obtain. And if you do it, props to you, but it's not going to change your life.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not a game changing status to become a pro in bodybuilding. It's just really not, unless you're top of the top.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, being an influencer is gonna make you more money to start.
Yeah,
before you're even a pro, you could literally start getting a following, get your fans to interact with you, or people, not fans, I guess, because you're not doing much.
Absolutely.
But you're competing. You could basically just use your social media to get a sponsorship. You don't have to be an IFBB Pro to get a sponsorship. And you can get paid through sponsorships even if you're not an IFBB Pro.
Right.
So, I mean,
you just have to be a really good fitness representation.
People have to like your stuff, you know?
Yeah.
People will have to get what you get, which is easy when you have, or you can show a very nice physique.
Focus more on trying to achieve your verified status on Instagram than put IFBB after your name. And that's not to say you shouldn't chase the IFBB Pro card. I'm not saying that. But guys who have chased it and who have achieved it recently that might hear this because we know them, you guys know, right? You're working your asses off.
Yeah.
You're not being slouches. You're not kicking back. You're not taking time off. You're not skipping meals. You're not missing workouts. You're 100% focused. You're not hanging out with your friends partying all the time. You dedicate your life to this in order to be somebody as a pro, because being a pro just makes you another one of a million. You know what I mean? You have to stand out still. So that status, that title isn't going to change your life. It just really isn't based on just achieving it.
Yeah.
There's so much more that has to go into that. And that's just the biggest thing, man, that people aren't understanding. Some people have the really big misconception that status is going to be game changing. It's not like becoming a pro basketball player or a pro football player.
No, you don't just instantly get $1 million contract.
Yeah, it's just not. And then even staying on top is hard to do when you do get there. You know, I mean, look at how many dudes have come and gone.
Yeah.
Or injuries have taken them out, or they just couldn't stand the mental, struggle.
I mean, you're putting yourself through a lot. Even if you just want to become an influencer, you're putting yourself through a lot. Now put on bodybuilding where you are half dead for 6 weeks out of a prep. Like it's tough to be on social media with a smiling face, and you have to go to work.
Where do you find that energy to continue to influence after that? You really have to be a special breed of human being to accomplish all these things, maintain them, and continue to make them valuable or increase your value in the process of doing that. And man, it's just such a far-fetched dream to chase. It really is. It's sad to see not people chase it. It's sad to see people chase it with those expectations. They're just bad expectations. They're not realistic. And you can hate me for saying that. You can talk whatever trash you want to talk. I would love to bring you on and discuss it in person.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not knocking it by any means. I'm just saying from where we stand, from our observation and the things that we've seen people doing and trying, that's not it. That's not the end all. You know what I mean? Chase it by all means. Go ahead. Just have an actual game plan based around how you're going to use that title. Don't think the title alone is going to change the game for you, because it's not. It's just.
And we're running into a lot of young people, aka literally my age group, I would say from 24 to 18, that are like, I just want to be a pro. I'm just going to train, eat, sleep, and that's it. And I'm like, that's not going to work. You're not going to, even if you do become a pro by the time you're 23, that's not special anymore. Right.
It's been done.
It's been done. People have done it at 19.
Those dudes look like Nick Walker now. So good luck standing out. Dude.
It's not gonna work. That's not gonna be enough.
Yeah.
So if your plan is just to eat, sleep, train, and do nothing else, not influence, not show people, like you got a sad awakening.
You gotta give back. The most successful people in this industry, especially pro bodybuilders, not just speaking on influencers alone, but they have something to offer to the culture, man. They're giving back something, whether, like, I'll give you an example. Cedric McMillan, super stellar physique, a pretty winning athlete.
Yeah, could have been this for Olympia,
and all that
sure.
stuff. Yeah, but never seems to bring that conditioning when it comes time to the Olympia stage. But he's maintained his status. He's maintained his influencer position because he's a very unique character. He's super humble, super caring,
great personality.
Like people just he's like a people's champ kind of guy. Like
he really is.
Really like this dude. He's the most modest and humble dude out there. He's in the Army.
He really does have a killer physique too.
I mean, his physique is phenomenal, bro. It's sad that he can't nail that conditioning when it comes to the Olympia. But he smacked Arnold. He smacked other big shows to get the qualification, and then just doesn't really bring it in. But he hasn't lost his status as an influencer or as somebody who, holds some status in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, he just
because
commented.
his personality fucking kills it. For him.
He commented on the Arnold.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
yeah.
he's up there still. Like,
Yeah.
he could jump on a stage and people are gonna want to come see that show. Say it's even like a lower.
Well, he's
tier
a hell
show.
of a poser too.
Yeah.
He's one of the few bodybuilders who have that mass and very graceful and stylish posing
And
man.
great lines. Yeah.
He's got a killer physique. We'll have to do an episode when we just talk a lot of shit about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Some of our favorite guys, man, and maybe bring on some more subject matter experts to do it with us.
sure.
But yeah, this is just one of those topics, man, that it's gym talk.
Yeah.
It's gym talk, and I've probably told this to a whole bunch of people. In fact, there's probably people going to listen to this and be like, "Yo, I've heard this from John before because he's told me, or I've heard it all." It's just like, I'm not doing it to kill people's spirits by any means. In fact, I hope it motivates you to actually go out and accomplish the goal now, because you have a better expectation. You're not just going to wait to get that pro status and think that that's going to be the fucking unicorn opportunity. It's not.
Well, we've done this podcast multiple times, and I still even like hearing it. Yeah. It makes me.
It's literally our third time recording this shit. Oh, man.
So it makes me feel like I understand that. I'm ready to do what it takes to
increase your value,
increase my value.
Yeah.
Exactly,
and not wait to increase your value.
Doing
to get
it
there.
now.
Fuck, I encourage everybody who wants to be a pro, go after it. Be willing to put in the work. Be a fucking winner. Win every single day until you achieve that goal. Have that mentality for it. By all means, man, I super duper encourage it. In fact, I sponsor and invest in people trying to chase that shit. So you can't say that I'm putting something negative on it. I'm just trying to be realistic with people. Don't let that be the only thing you're going after. Really have some ambitions to create something in and around that status or that title, whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
Really decide what you want to do.
If you have nothing more to offer other than putting that behind your name on your social media, nothing is going to change for you in your life as a bodybuilder or a fitness influencer or whatever it may be until you work those angles, So there's so many different ways you can come at it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's rare. And when you do it, you're going to be an anomaly because not a lot of people are doing it. And you're going to work your ass off all day, every day in order to increase your value. Otherwise, you are going to be working a regular job. You are going to be working a 9 to 5.
That just motivates me right there.
Yeah, we know a lot of pros though, right?
We do.
We know pros who got that status and didn't change. They're still personal trainers. They're still
working
coaching.
60 hours a week.
Working regular jobs. And it's not to knock them. It's just that's the reality of it, right? Those people are fucking normal.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Those people are normal. They achieved the status, so they're abnormal in the industry. But now that they are in that status, you go from being the top when you're in the NPC. You go from being one of the top competitors because you should be getting that pro card, and you got that pro card, so you proved that you were one of the top. But now you're at the bottom again,
the way bottom.
The second you get that pro card status, you go to the very bottom of the line.
Yep.
When you were an NPC competitor and a national qualified competitor, working your way towards that pro card, and everyone seen you and was like, that motherfucker's gonna get their pro card. That's coming for that person. You just watch. That you were at the top of your game, and it probably felt good, and you thought the world of it, and you were like, yo, I'm gonna get this pro card and everything's gonna change. And then the second that they slap that title on you, you're competing with an entirely different realm of human being. Yeah. Like you're competing with people who have been pros and other people who achieved their pro status. So
competed in multiple pro shows. It's like
So now you're competing with the best of the best. Where before you were standing out as one of the best in the NPC. Now you're in the IFBB and you're at the bottom. You got to work your way up and you got to stand out. You got to put on even more grind than you put as an NPC competitor. And you still have the same job you had.
You still are working 60 hours a week.
Still doing what you were doing
now
before.
If you want to use that IFBB Pro status and do some pro shows, you got to do double work now. Yeah. It's like it's double as ours.
It's true. Like, so be prepared. Be prepared to work harder.
Yeah.
Be prepared to in order to increase your value, you got to increase your work ethic. You got to increase your mentality, your mind state, your dedication, your motivation, your discipline. All those things must increase in order for you to increase your value. Otherwise, forget it. And on that note, you can do all those things and never attain the pro card status and still become something.
Exactly.
Still become somebody. You know what I mean? Like in the fitness industry as an influencer, you do not need the status to become, and the status will not create you. I assure you of that.
Not at all.
But if you work all the angles coupled with the status, by all means, I'm sure something great can happen for you. I'm sure you can make it pop if you've got the work ethic for it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not natural. It's not going to happen, by natural order. It's not going to happen because you are a pro now.
Yeah.
Nobody in the IFBB is even going to know who the hell you are until you make yourself known. That's just the way it works,
true.
right? You have to stand out. No one would know who Nick Walker was if Nick Walker wasn't the top dog right now in the game.
Yeah.
Nobody would know who he was. There's so many pros out there. It's crazy. So just keep that in mind. This doesn't need to be a crazy long episode. We just wanted to really touch on the point and let you guys know that there is criteria that exists that is required to be coupled with the status of being an IFBB Pro if you truly want this to be something that changes your life and helps to make your dreams come true and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in life. But the pro status alone by itself, if you're not already going through the list, you need to start going through the list.
Yeah.
Because nothing is going to change for you.
Yeah, just look for those ways to create that value, like we said.
Right. And again, just to reiterate, because I know how dumb people can be, we are not saying don't do it. We are not saying it's a bad idea. We are actually saying go for it.
Yeah, I'm still going to do it.
Just take these motherfucking expectations with you on the road to trying to achieve that so that you don't get disappointed after you've put in so much work only to realize
you got to go to work tomorrow.
You got to go hard, but you got to go harder than yesterday now.
Yeah.
Now that you're a pro, you got to go harder if you actually want that status to increase your value. It's not going to be automatic. It's not going to happen for you just because you got the status because they give out 800 of those cards a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, good luck. And then if you're just not one of the top competitors with one of the most stellar physiques, man, I don't know what to tell you. If you sometimes take second and third and fourth in the NPC division,
that's not gonna work.
Good luck. You know what I mean? Because you have to bring home all them first places. You got to be qualifying for national shows on a regular basis and then going to the national shows and getting first call outs. How many times have we seen our athletes make it to a national show and then not even get first or second or third call outs, because they looked fucking phenomenal standing next to everybody here in the NPC. And then they get up there in a national show and they just get smoked, man, because there's that much more competition there. And again, 99% of those dudes aren't going to get a pro card because only one person will. Yeah. You know what I mean? So again, it's just that much less likely that you become. But when you do, you're not at the top of the pro status doesn't put you at the top of the game. The pro status puts you right back at the bottom, and then you've got to work your way back up the top. Yeah. Like you did in the NPC divisions. And it's 10 times harder as a pro.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to end on is just understanding and letting people know, especially people that are trying to chase that pro card, is you need to outsource yourself. You need to make connections with people that are in this industry and even outside of the industry in order to elevate your status and create value in general, because people outside of this industry can still help you out in many ways. There's things you can't do that they can do and make happen. They can bring value to you. You can bring value to them. It's a give and take, and just knowing people and creating those great relationships with them is going to help tremendously.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, I try to cue you to stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
If somebody hits me up and is like, hey, I need to grab some things from H&I, can you help me out? And I'm like, yeah, go see Deion.
Yeah.
If it's somebody that might be of value or someone important and I don't think Deion knows who they are because he's fresh face around here, I'll hit him up and be like, Deion, so-and-so's coming.
Yep.
Help them out because you might need that person. Get to know that person, build a relationship. Like whatever it may be, I try to make that a habit because I know what you want to achieve in life, and I want to contribute to that in any way I can. And we've been doing this for enough years to kind of have some understanding of the way things can work sometimes.
Yeah.
So building relationships with people, getting familiar, making sure judges recognize you from year to year when you're competing is always going to bring some sort of value, right? Because they're going to remember, hey, that's that Deion kid. Wow, look how much different he looks. He's improving. He's doing the stuff we're telling him. Those are the things that make them pay attention to you and creates a brand recognition in their mind of who you are, so to speak. So just keep that stuff in mind, guys. We're not experts. We're not going to tell you guys that what we're saying is gold and that it's 100% accurate, but I'm pretty confident in it. I'd be willing to argue with some people about it.
For sure. I would
without a doubt. And those of you that have accomplished it, it's not even a fair argument because we're saying that you do exist.
Yeah.
You're just a rarity.
Yeah.
you're just a rarity.
I mean, comment if you really got something to say.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, Deion, I think we can slow this one off here.
Yeah.
It's our third time getting after it. I hope it has the same energy the first two had, because we laughed a lot in the last one, man, which was really good stuff. We might have to make some kind of edits out of it just to have some fun with it. It was a last minute planning to get this done today. I'm wearing my motorcycle gear on this freaking podcast, so there's that. I rode my bike today.
Looks sick outside too.
It's a beautiful bike, man. We're losing season for it too, so I gotta ride as much as I can.
And then you got race cars all down the side, and then you got my pickup.
Well, I have my neighbor here, DeVito. He's killing it. I would shout him out, but he hasn't paid me for that endorsement. So I'm just kidding. If you guys have imports or you drive foreigns, come see my boy DeVito at DeVito Racing. He's right next door to our studio. The guy's legit. He's not playing, and this is not a paid endorsement. I just like good people, and he's a good dude.
Sure.
Him and Deanne. In fact, Deanne used to be a competitor. In fact, Deanne was a freaky competitor. Like, she had a stellar physique, and she was talking some shit with her physique up there on stage when she did it. She doesn't compete anymore, hasn't competed in a long time, but when she did, man, she didn't fuck around. So cool. It tied right in. Look at how perfect that was.
That was good.
Anyways, man, we really appreciate you guys' support. We got a lot of really fucking good feedback on the last podcast. That meant a lot. I still have people coming up to me every day giving me props and saying they thoroughly enjoyed it, and we talked about some good shit. So hopefully we continue to keep the topics of discussion intriguing. I want to keep them within the industry, so I apologize for those of you that aren't into the bodybuilding side of things. We're going to do that from time to time because it's part of what we do. It's 100% our industry. But something about everything means you're going to hear us talk a lot of shit. We might talk music, we might talk shoes, we might talk dogs. I don't know what the hell we could talk about. Whatever, we'll take some recommendations as well. If you guys want to leave comments or message us directly on our pages and ask us questions of things we can answer, we'll do that live or we'll do that on our podcast or whatever. In fact, we talked about, we're just going to make this a modcast. It'll be a modified podcast. We'll do whatever. We'll do challenges. We'll do goofy shit. We'll do whatever, man. We just want to have some fun. It's work for us. So the more fun we can have with it, the better, right?
Yeah.
So we're all for that. We appreciate everybody's support. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Please share it. Comment or tag somebody in it that you think would find some value in it, and just show us a little love. And let's see if we can't make something come of this, because we really want to blow this up some way, shape, or form. And the more we can get people to contribute and help out, the better. And in fact, the more that you can give us in terms of contribution, the better topics of discussion we can come up with. So we're willing to talk about it all. In fact, music will probably be a big topic of discussion, at least from my point of view, because I have a pretty good angle on it. I've done some things in the music industry. In fact, Ill Eagle might start signing some record deals soon. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I would love to get into a little bit of everything, and I have a pretty good eye for dope music. So we'll have some fun with this stuff, man.
Podcast about everything, business about
something about everything. It's officially the Modcast. You can't say podcast anymore.
Sorry.
We're the Modcast, bro. We're gonna be a modified podcast because we're just bullshitting up here. Nothing professional about what we're doing. We're not great speakers. We're not great editors or writers or anything. We're having fun, and we're just showing you guys what independent hustle looks like. I'm not claiming to be super successful or have made it by any means. In fact, this is probably going to be more of a documentary of my journey to make it big. This is us growing and playing all the angles and really showing you guys our journey. We might ask you guys for some advice. We might say, hey, business is sucking over here. We're trying to do this, that. What would you guys recommend? Like, you guys could help the journey by giving us advice and recommendations on how we should be modifying our business structure and the approach that we take. And in the same breath, you can just bear witness and watch us grow and build this into the empire
some connections
that we're trying to make it, because I definitely want Ill Eagle to become a household name. And every little piece that we put into this puzzle is an intricate part of obtaining that success. So we're not acting like we know what the fuck we're talking about. I've been telling people since day one, man, I'm winging this shit.
Yeah.
I've been winging this shit. Now, I'm not winging it anymore, right? We hit a certain level of business where I had to educate myself. So I read books every day, homie. I can't even tell you how many books I've read this year alone, but I've read a lot.
Yeah.
Like at least 15 books, not even exaggerating. So I'm crazy into growth right now, and I want to evolve, and we'll take any help we can get.
Yeah, I'm doing the same with supplements. I mean, I've dove into it this past year.
Right.
So.
How else can you evolve if you don't evolve, right?
Yeah.
So props to everybody that gave us a shout out and talked to us in person or sent us a message. Keep it up, share, like, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for the support.
Thank you guys.
Ill Eagle Culture Brands Talk. I'm John, aka Ill Eagle CEO, and this is Deion, No nickname Larry.
Yes.
And you're out.
Thank you.